All right, so y'all see the title of the video, man. Proof 2018 LeBron was the greatest, or really is the greatest player of all time. And this is just, this is just the proof. Now this is not going to be a short video. This video is going to be rather long. So you just gonna have to go through it. It might be around an hour and a half to 2 hours long. I got a lot to go through, but we just gonna start off with this. The MVP, a lot of people say LeBron could have won MVP that season. Compare his stats to James Harden's stats. He got more points, rebounds, assists, shot better from the field. He did play 10 more games, right? But what people also don't mention is the fact that the year before the Cavs won 51 games, they lost Kyrie Irving and they had two roster trades. So they had a roster trade at the beginning of the season and one in the middle of the season. LeBron ended up so losing Kyrie Irving and two roster trades. He took that team without Kyrie Irving and two roster trades from 51 wins to 50 wins. He was clearly the MVP as far as if you in my eyes he was the MVP. But we just gonna keep go down some more stats. This is just the amount of playoff minutes he played in comparison to the Celtics' entire roster in 2018. Not really, that's just a random stat. But when you look at the amount of points, rebounds, and assists he had for an entire playoff run, it's the most amount that any player has had. Like, if you combine it, it's the most amount that any player has had in NBA history in a single playoff run. So he was 2 points and two assists shy of 750 points, 200 rebounds, and 200 assists. I mean, that's some insane stuff. I don't think people realize how insane that is. I actually heard someone say that 2018 LeBron was overrated, but we're just going to keep going down the list. This is one of the most insane statistical things that I've ever seen, but we're going to keep going. For that entire playoff run, 34, it should say 9 rebounds, but anyways, 34, 9, and 9, 6 40-point games. Actually, he had 8 by the end of them playoffs. 3 triple doubles, 2 buzzer beaters. That's for that entire playoff run, 34, 9, and 9. So he nearly averaged a 34-point triple double for the entire playoffs. I mean, I don't really know what to say about that, except for it's unmatched. Yeah, 34, 9, and 9, 2018 postseason. Versus the Pacers, he averaged 34, 10, and 7 on 55% shooting. Versus the Raptors, 34, 8, and 11 on 55% shooting. Versus the Celtics, 33, 9, and 8 on 52% shooting. And versus the Warriors, 34, 8, and 10 on 52% shooting. I mean, what's the word to describe a dude that could do this? And mind you, this was his 15th season. And honestly, yeah, it was his best season. As far as just his postseason playoff run. You could look at anything that he was able to do and how he was playing. Like, the numbers don't do it justice, but at the same time they do, because this is the hardest carry job that any player has ever had. And this is one of the reasons why I have LeBron as the GOAT, because he can carry a team or make bad teams look good better than any other player can. And not only that, when you just look at it, they call that floor raising. He's the best floor raiser ever. Combined with his all-around ability, like points, rebounds, assists, defense, and IQ, it's not even close as far as who the best player ever is. But we're talking about who the best version of the best player, and it's 2018 LeBron. And one of the main ways you could really see it is just anyone that saw the Cavs team in 2018 knows they were not a great team. They shouldn't have even been in the finals. And I'm going to give some facts to back that up. They shouldn't have even been in the finals. But even with that, if you look at that team, right, Uh, and then you look at how they went up against the KD Warriors. I don't think there's anyone, and you look at how LeBron played. I don't think there's anyone that would dispute the fact that if you gave LeBron adequate help in 2018, and when I say adequate, I just mean like give him a squad. Just give him a squad, a team you know is a squad. Give him a squad and tell me he can't. Man, I don't know. I'm just saying it was the scariest version of LeBron, the best version of LeBron. And when you put if you were to put a actual decent or great team around that version of LeBron, I'm pretty sure they would win the championship. It would be hard for me to deny that, or anyone to deny that. I mean, give 2018 LeBron Anthony Davis, and then pair him up versus the Warriors. See what will happen. But I mean, that's not really the argument I'm gonna make. But I'm just saying. And so you look at the stats. Stats say, you know what I'm saying, he was a pretty dominant as an individual player. Okay. And in every round of the playoffs. Next slide. Most clutch shots in a single season, regular season and playoffs, NBA history. 87 field goals made on 54% shooting. I already addressed that in debunking the myth that LeBron's not clutch, but the 2018 season is the most clutch season that exists, or he has the most clutch shots in a single season. That's what I think. That's what I meant to say. It should say he's tied with Jerry West for 8. This is before he had his 8th 40-point game. But he's tied with Jerry West for 8. So he had 8 40-point games that playoff season. I don't really remember why I put this here. He was the underdog in 2018, but I don't. Hold on. Let me get this drink real quick. He was the underdog in 2018, but I think that's underselling it. That team was just playing horrible, and like I said, I'm gonna go through some statistical facts to show how hard he actually carried that team, and it's gonna show you that LeBron is the greatest player ever, and 2018 LeBron is the best player of any version of any player, right? But yeah, he was an underdog in 2018. This is just one of the statistical facts about 2018 LeBron. He in Game 1 he had the 3rd highest game score in NBA Finals history, but he's up there twice and he's number 1. 2016 Game 6 is number 1, but okay. If you look at the top 10 statistical postseasons, 2018 LeBron, there's only 2 guys on this list. LeBron and Jordan. 08, 09 LeBron topped that list, but 2018 LeBron is 4th on this list. Just highlighting where 2018 LeBron ranks. This was just versus the Warriors. I don't even know why this slide's not supposed to be in here, but that is pretty crazy if you look at it. This was going into the 2018 finals. In the last 3 finals by category, LeBron led in literally everything. That means out of Steph Curry, out of Clay, out of Draymond Green, out of all the guys that were there on the Warriors, and all the guys that were there on the Cavs, he was the leader in all of it. I don't really think there's a comparison, but hey, there's no comparison between LeBron and any other player. That's all I'm gonna say. Now this is pretty interesting when you look at it, because this, man, how do I put this? This pretty much shows that, like, it was just a carry job. Like, look at this. So LeBron scored 241 points. Kevin Love scored 80. J.R. Smith scored 60, right? But 7 of the top 10 scorers were Pacers players, right? 7 of the top 10 scorers 2 through 5 were Pacers. Scorers 7 through 9 were Pacers, right? But if you, I don't even know how to state how much he carried that team, but let's just say he was the only Cavs player to score 20 points in any of the, like, in that 7-game series versus the Pacers. He was the only one to score at least 20 points. in that full series, and they won. 7 of the top 10 scorers were Pacers, and they won, and the Cavs won. Right, but Kevin Love and J.R. Smith, the only two guys that cracked the top 10 scorers, who ranked 6th and 10th respectfully, they took more shots than the amount of points they scored in the first round. Now, and then you gotta look at this too. The only player outside of LeBron that even averaged double figures was Kevin Love, and he averaged 11 points per game. LeBron for the series averaged 34, 10, and 7. I mean, that's just showing some statistical effects to show how hard he carried that series. But let's go to this one. You know, the Raptors series, he had pretty good help. I think he had better help in the Raptors series, and the best help in the Raptors series. Okay, with this one versus the Celtics. Hold on. 6 of the top 10 scorers were Celtics, right? And then 2 of the 10, hold on, 2 scorers 2 through 6 were Celtics, and the 9th leading scorer was a Celtic. J.R. Smith, the Cavs' third leading shot taker, took more shots than points scored again in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that was the second time he did that. And as you see, he's not even in the top 10 for points scored for the series. Kevin Love was the only other player to average double figures outside of LeBron, averaging 12 points per game. But he ends up getting injured 5 minutes into Game 6 and missed the rest of that game and all of Game 7. So he had to finish the series without his best teammate, who only averaged 12 points per game. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, when you look at these two slides, what does it tell you? If I say, okay, the yellow represents the Pacers team, the red, or whatever color you want to call that, represents the Cavs, and I said, okay, just if you look at it, what team should have won based on the output? Based on the output, what team should have won? Now, if you're a LeBron hater, you're going to tell me that the Cavs should have won because they had LeBron, right? But this isn't about LeBron as an individual player, right? Because you can be as good as you want to be as an individual player, but players do not beat teams. Teams beat teams, right? But what the point of what I'm saying is, LeBron is so good all around and such a great floor raiser that he can make teams appear better than what they are. So, okay, if you're not catching what I'm saying, the Pacers should have won that series. And I'm not saying, what I'm saying is LeBron's the only guy that you could really throw on a team and they're contenders. He the only guy that you could say that about. And then when you just look at these numbers, and I ask you honestly, what team should have won just based on these numbers? What was the better all-around team? Yeah, they got LeBron, who's the best player, but what team was better? They will always want to talk about, LeBron played in the weak East, and that's why he got to so many finals. But he had to carry some of those teams there. 2007 he carried, 2018 he carried, and partially 2015 because Kevin Love got injured in the first round of the playoffs, and Kyrie Irving was dealing with an injury. But the point I'm trying to make is, these were better teams. They won because of the brilliance of LeBron James, not just his physical stature and dominance. Because a lot of people say, Jordan would have been able to take this team to the finals. No, Jordan wouldn't have been able to do that. And they always say, Victor Oladipo and rookie Tatum and see what those guys are saying, and what they're not realizing is it's not just about. If you look at the team LeBron had around him, there's no way he should have got them to the finals. It's not just about individual ability. Yes, if you put Michael Jordan in comparison to any individual player that was on those Celtics or Pacers team or Raptors team, of course he's better than any one of them. But we're talking about the team that was around LeBron and how good he actually made that team look. And he has the ability to do that better than Michael Jordan ever did. That's why they won those series. He has the ability to do that better than any NBA player ever did. Not just Michael Jordan. But what I'm saying is the reason why I mentioned Jordan is because when they say, Jordan could have took that 2018 Cavs team to the finals. Well, when did Jordan ever display that he could carry a team that hard? I'm gonna go through some facts to show that no, Jordan wouldn't have got them to the finals if they even got past the first round. And it's not just about LeBron averaged a lot of points. Like I said, it's the combination. It's the scoring. It's the IQ, the playmaking, the passing. You know what I'm saying? The way he can control the game, his floor raising ability. It's all those things that made him be able to get this team to the finals. But we're going to keep going. Now, look at this. 2018 playoff wins. LeBron in the wins scored 37% of the Cavs points. The rest of the roster, 70%. LeBron, 58% from the field. The rest of the roster, 44%. LeBron, 35% from three. The rest of the roster, 38%. But it just shows the portion of responsibility that LeBron shouldered and, how he got that team to the finals. Most points scored in a single playoff run, 748 points, 57.7 effective field goal percentage, which is the highest out of everybody on here, right? But the point is, the second most points in a single playoff run. But when you look at it, you look at the rebounds and assists, he is outdoing all these guys by far. Like I said, he was 2 points and 2 assists shy of 750 points, 200 rebounds, 200 assists. It's really not a strong comparison, but yeah, that should say 748 instead of 747. But just the graphics showing what's going on and the LeBron statistical dominance that season. Most points, same thing, 748. Kawhi Leonard third. And one thing I want to say, this is kind of a side note, but I watched some of the best basketball I've ever watched in my life back to back. 2018 LeBron and 2019 Kawhi Leonard. I think that those are the two greatest back to back playoff runs I've ever seen. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Because once 2018 LeBron, I was the greatest carry job I ever seen, and obviously the best player I ever seen. I saw Kawhi Leonard in 2019 right after that. I mean, he was in no way comparable to what LeBron did, but he was still great. But he scored the third most points in a single playoff run, which is pretty. I mean, that's pretty steep because that's playoff history, and he's only behind LeBron and Jordan. And I think if Kawhi had been healthy in 2021, he might have I don't even know how many championships he got. Got one with the Raptors. One. Oh yeah, he might have a third championship and a third Finals MVP. But that's another story for another time. And then you look at year 15 for LeBron and Jordan. Yeah, that one was in the finals. One of them had missed the playoffs and all that. Year 15 versus year 15, that shit ain't even comparable. But we're just gonna keep going. They were the biggest underdogs in the NBA Finals in 16 years, right? And if you do the math, that's 2001 Allen Iverson. That's the But I just want to show how bad that team was, right? Okay, we just gonna go through a little more statistics. LeBron James scored 33% of the Cavs' total points this postseason, a number higher than anything we've seen since his first stint in Cleveland. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's just 33%, and that's historical. But we're gonna go to another tab. Okay. This is just looking at his teammates' performances throughout the years. I don't know what any of that means, but if you see 2018, you got all those lines going down. That's how bad that team was. But I would really want to highlight a few things. I'm gonna highlight how bad that team was. Okay. This is on Reddit. Somebody asked the question: Was 2018 LeBron the greatest carry job ever? Right. It says, I always separate tighter winning runs because winning has a unique condition that a player would sacrifice his touches and numbers because it's better that way, which is false. That's false. Sometimes a player has to uh, be more dominant statistically to win, you know, and not sacrifice his touches and take over. Like when Jordan averaged 41 versus the versus the Suns in the NBA Finals, he wasn't sacrificing his touches to do that. When LeBron led both teams and everything in the 2016 Finals, he wasn't sacrificing his touches. But I'm just disagreeing with that comment. But among non-winning runs, LeBron's 2018 run is probably the best of the lot. Yeah, his value over replacement / Cavaliers team combined value over replacement had a ratio of 100%. For comparison, Jordan had 66.7% in the 1990 playoffs and 71.1 in the 1989 playoffs, right? What that pretty much means, a value over replacement. If you are not familiar, just look it up. But it pretty much means how valuable you are to your team's success. And if, somebody replacing you, I forgot the formula for it, right? But it's pretty much if somebody were to replace you, the amount of I think it was like the amount of damn, I don't forgot. But it's like win shares, like it measures how valuable you are to your team's success or like to your team winning. But I forgot how exactly they do it. Uh Hold on. We just want to share this instead. But on that note of value over replacement, 2018 LeBron got, he number one. For a single season, he number one. But he also one, two, three, four. He got 4 of the top 10 in the playoffs. Oh, highest value over replacement. But whatever the case. I'm just gonna show just how bad that team was though. Because, a lot of people they just don't know how bad that team was, man. Okay. I'm gonna give you a little bit more statistics, right? I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm not about to read all this, but I'm gonna summarize it. Uh, Even the bright spots are blemished. Kevin Love is a star, but he has never neared his Minnesota level contributions with the Cavs, and he's not getting any younger. Plus, he's still dealing with the concussion. Kyle Korver is a fine one-way player in a two-way sport. Jeff Green is finally providing surplus value. Now that he's earning a minimum salary. I'm gonna skip over the rest of that. The other Cavaliers will have their moments, but so much falls on LeBron, and he has risen to the occasion. LeBron has posted 44% of Cleveland's win shares, which is pretty much how responsible you are for your team winning this postseason. That's the 5th highest percentage ever for someone who led his team to the finals, and highest since the NBA-ABA merger. The all-time leaderboard and percentage of teams' postseason win shares among players who led their teams to the finals. You got Wilt Chamberlain at number 1, Mike in at number 2, Jerry West at number 3, Cliff Hagan at Cliff Hagan at number 4, and LeBron James at number 5% of teams' postseason win shares. Again, how responsible you are for your team winning. And here's since the merger. Since the merger, LeBron James is the top 2. 2018 and 2014. Um, of course, win shares are far from a perfect measure, and these are all postseason long marks. Perhaps LeBron's changes in the finals, but this matches what we're seeing unfold. LeBron is dragging an undermanned team deep in the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna share another tab. I'm just giving a run around. I'm gonna recap at the end to show just how the statistics show how bad that team was and how they shouldn't have been in the finals and how LeBron carried them. But anyways, I need to do more research to confirm that the Cavs are the worst finals team in NBA history. But I looked at the last 25 years, going back to 1993, and I found they are the worst finals team during that stretch. Here are the worst teams who made the finals since 1993, ranked by lowest SRS, which I have no idea what that was, nor do I care. I think that's the way that they measure competition, but I don't go by that personally. I pretty much went through how I determined LeBron played better competition than Jordan. And that's like by looking at at least in the finals, looking at how historical those teams were and where they land and, what records do they own and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you talk about the Warriors and Spurs, and when you talk about dominance, they number 1 and 2 in win percentage and stuff like that. And they got the most wins in this, and it's just crazy stuff. But anyways, don't use SRS. Ranked by lowest SRS with defensive rating also included. The 2015 Cavs have the lowest SRS and lowest defensive rating of any of these teams, and only the 1999 Knicks have an SRS of below 2 in this data set. The 2018 Cavs lower than 1999 Knicks, 1995 Houston, who a lot of people say Hakeem carried that team. Nah, he wasn't carrying like LeBron. I ain't trying to hear all that. But dang, 2017 is pretty bad too, though. You got 05 Detroit, of course, 07 Cleveland, uh, Boston in 2010, Miami, Philly, New Jersey, and Lakers. The teams that the Cavs had to beat to make the 2018 finals. They all had better defensive ratings and a better SRS. Let me finish drinking this water. The Cavs don't belong in the finals. It's a miracle that they got there, particularly given who they had to get through in order to make it there. I would be stunned if there is another team in NBA history who made the finals with a worse ranked defense than the 2018 Cavs. They are embarrassingly bad on defense. Okay. Yeah. But that's just looking at, some of the main things. And I think SRS is a regular season stat anyway. So it don't even prove how hard your competition is. I mean, personally, I just think competition gets harder over time. So of course LeBron played better competition. Like outside of the historical things and records that the Spurs and Warriors have. Um outside of those things, competition just gets better over time. So like the same way Jordan fans say, "Oh man, Bill Russell's 11 don't trump Jordan 6 because Bill Russell played in a league with 8 teams and Bill Russell ain't play nobody." Well, I mean, that's kind of the same thing, same reason why Jordan 6 don't trump LeBron's 4 because LeBron played way better competition. But, hey, that's another thing. But I don't think you can really use you can use some regular season things, but SRS is pretty much I think it's based on how much a team beat certain teams or something like that. It's something stupid. But to me, it don't really show anything because according to them, the 2020 championship was the easiest championship. It wasn't even though LeBron was in the Western Conference, the same conference that everybody said was the strongest conference. But according to SRS, which is what they say, that's how you measure competition, it was the weakest, championship, which doesn't make sense. How does that make sense when he's in a tougher conference that people say was tough, and they say he only got to the finals because he was in the East? But then when you look, if you go by the statistics, they say you go by the measure competition. Oh, he had this team had a he had it easy because of SRS. That don't make sense. He's in a tougher conference according to what they say. That's all I'm saying. But we're gonna keep going. Uh, 'Cause there's a few more things we got on here. Because I really want to show how bad that team was. But I want y'all to listen to what this man says. I don't remember who it is, but it might be T Mac or something like that. Or no, I think it's Chauncey Billups. But hear what he says about the 2018 Cavs and LeBron James.
You talking NBA Finals? That is a tall order.
James for three. He's got.
He talking about LeBron getting this Cavs team to the finals. He said, if you didn't hear him, he said, if you're talking about getting them to the finals, that's a tall order. Okay. Now I'm gonna show some of this game a little later, so I'm gonna keep that open a little bit. But I just want to show how bad this team was really quick. It's out of the way. All right. Yeah, I mean, but y'all get the point. You got how many views did this got? 7 million views, but that was 6 years ago. Dang. Well, anyways, that's how bad that team was. SNL did a whole skit on how bad they was. Now you know you got to be bad. You know you getting carried, man. But and people say that's disrespectful to say that because he carried or he's carrying. Yeah, it's disrespectful to say that he carried that team, but it's really not. But we just gonna. I'm just showing a little bit to show how bad that team was, right? There's something else I had to show. If I'm not mistaken. I don't know if I could find it. Hold on. If I can. Hold on, y'all. Oh, I think I got it. Okay. So this is just some stats from that playoff run. Okay. You could say he was unstoppable in the clutch. He was 5 of 6 or 83% on shots to tie or take the lead in the final minute of the fourth quarter, including 2 buzzer beaters. Game 5 versus Pacers was a game-winning buzzer beater. Game 1 at Raptors fadeaway that tied the game with 30 seconds left in the fourth. Game 3 versus Raptors game-winning buzzer beater. Game 1 at Warriors layup to give the Cavs a 1-point lead with 50 seconds left. Layup to give the Cavs 2-point lead with 32 seconds left in the fourth. Game 1. His only miss came at the last second of Game 1 in Toronto, which the Cavs ended up winning in overtime. My bad. I need to clear my throat, but he outplayed 2 All-Stars combined. He outplayed DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. If you look at the stats, 136 points to 138. That's 2 guys. 33 rebounds to 30. 45 points to 46. 45 assists to 46 assists. And the field goal percentage, 57 to 103, 53 to 108. Okay. The Celtics were 37-0 all time, went up to on a 7-game series until 2018. LeBron. Okay. He became the first player in NBA history to drop 45 points in multiple game 7s. And it was 10 years apart. 2008 and 2018. He scored the most points in a single postseason heading into the NBA Finals, surpassing Hakeem. He got 612, right? That's heading into the finals. And then, now this one is insane. Only 40 times a player contributed to 50 or more points in the 2018 postseason game. LeBron was 17 of them. He played 22 postseason games. So what that pretty much means is how much you contributed to your teams, like points and assists combined. You contributed to 50 or more points, right? That only happened 40 times that season. LeBron was 17 of those 40 times. You know what I'm saying? And he played 22 postseason games. So that means only 5 of the games he played in the 2018 playoffs, he didn't contribute to 50 or more points in a postseason. Now, okay. It's really not debatable how good that dude was, but we're going to keep going. His PER for that playoff run was higher than any playoff run of Jordan's career, which, I mean, it don't really matter to me. But, he's ahead. 2018 LeBron's ahead of any playoff run Michael Jordan had as far as PER. And then, hold on. If I'm not mistaken, hold on. My bad, I'm looking at something. Yeah, okay. Actually, in the 2009 playoffs, he actually got on the record for PER. And then second only to Hakeem's, right? But Hakeem only played 4 games compared to LeBron. I don't know how many games he played, but so Hakeem didn't make it out the first round. LeBron was in the conference finals and he lost versus the Magic, I think. So in my eyes, he got the highest PER. Anyways, don't really care about that one. He's tied for the most 40-point games in the playoffs, which I already went through. Leading up to the finals, he faced elimination 3 times. In those games, he went 3-0 and averaged 42, 11, and 8. Game 7 win versus Pacers, 45, 8, and 7. Game 6 versus Boston, 46, 11, and 9. Game 7 versus Boston, 35, 15, and 9. I don't really care about that one either. He transformed a lottery team into a title contender. The Cavs had no business being in the finals. People will try to underestimate this finals run by using the weak East argument. But the truth is, outside of LeBron, the Cavs were a lottery team. Well, yeah, they were. And proof of that is once he left, they went from, 50 wins to 19 wins. But hey, the fact that LeBron was able to carry this team to the finals is truly remarkable. We're gonna skip past that because some of that I'm gonna save for the end. Oh yeah, and they say, oh yeah, because the team wasn't the same in 2019. But Kevin Love played 22 games that season. The Cavs were 7-15 in the games that he played. Anyways, I think I'll have to go to another. This is my last one, I think, showing the stats a little bit. Now this one shows even more how much he carried that team. Let me get some water real quick. LeBron James' role as the Cavaliers' leading man is no surprise. But never before in the playoff has a player's supporting cast depended so much on his star to carry them. During this season's playoffs, James has accounted for nearly a third of his team's box score statistics: points, rebounds, assists, steals, and block shots. The five stats have been kept consistently since 1974. No player since has contributed a higher share of his team's playoff output. No player since those. Okay. They have been kept consistently since 1974, and no player since 1974 has contributed to a higher share of his team's playoff output than LeBron James did in 2018. So that alone tells you how hard he carried that team. He was 34% of his team points, 22% of his team's rebounds, 47% of his team's assists, 24% of his team's steals, and 24% of his team's blocks. Overall, James has contributed 32% of the Cavaliers' stats. Okay. No one has come close to this share of a team's production for over 40 years. Of the teams in the finals each season, here are the players who had the largest percentage of their team's stats through the playoffs. Kareem is the only other player to have more than 30% of his team's stats. So if you look at that, you got Bird, you got Jordan, you got LeBron on there plenty of times. You got Magic. You got I don't know if Karl Malone or Moses Malone. But you got Kobe, you got Wade. LeBron just topped that list, whatever the case. 6 players have led their teams 5 or more times. LeBron is playing in his 9th finals. And each of those players run, he contributed the most to his team's combined statistics. In 2016, he led in all 5 categories, which has never been done in NBA history until he did that. No other player in this chart can claim that. In 6 of the other 8 years, he led in 4 of the 5. So let that sink in. In 2016, he led in all 5 categories. In 6 of the other 8 other years he was in the finals, he led in 4 of the 5 categories. Only Tim Duncan and Larry Bird led in 4. And they only did that one time. So the other 4 years, you're talking about 2012, 13, 14, and 15. Hold on. I read that wrong. 2012, 13, 14, 15, 17, and 18. That's Oh, man. That's insane. So from 2012 to 2018, he led his team at least in 4 different categories. I mean, that is some ridiculous stuff. I don't know if y'all can see that, but you just look at these numbers, man. I don't really care. Okay. Michael Jordan had 34% of the Bulls' points in the 1998 playoffs, surpassing James 34% from this season. But James has nearly half of his team's assists in these playoffs compared to Jordan's 70% in 1998. Now think about that. LeBron had 47%, right? Okay, this is just comparison. Magic Johnson had 55% of his team's playoff assists, the most of anyone on the chart. The closest to come to this mark is LeBron James, who has 47% and had 47% in 2015. It's just showing a little bit of statistical facts, but the point is, no player has ever contributed to a higher share of their team's stats. LeBron did, Kareem's the only close second. LeBron, that's a historical thing. So he contributed to 34% of his team's, 32% of his team stats. Kareem, the only other guy to contribute to over 30%. Anyway, I showed pretty much some of those stats. There's something else that I wanted to do. Okay. Now you look at it, they were down 3-0 in the 2018 finals despite LeBron averaging 37, 10, and 9 on 53% from the shooting. And people want to talk about this is why I don't, like I said, this is why I don't ever look at 6 finals losses as a, they act like LeBron choked 6 finals. Not, him losing 6 finals has nothing to do with his individual ability, but they have to make that argument in that way because it's the only way to keep him out of the conversation. The only way. It's the only way to pretend like LeBron's not better than Jordan or even in the same atmosphere as Jordan. But if you, they have to come up with two. The only way they say LeBron's not the GOAT, right? These are two things Jordan fans are going to tell you. They're going to say the 2011 finals, and then they're going to say 6 finals losses, and that's going to be their argument. But on this channel, I'm going to show you how to dispute them kind of arguments. At the end of the day, if he was averaging 37, 10, and 9 and was down 3-0, what does that tell you? Yeah, LeBron can't be the GOAT because he lost 6 finals. Look at that graphic, man. I don't even got nothing to say about that. Look at this. This is what he was in the finals with, and he was in the finals with this team versus this. Look at this. This is the team he was in the finals with, and this is what he went up against. Now you tell me, if you was picking a team, despite the fact that they got LeBron, what team would you say is a better team? As a team, right? What team would you say is better? I don't think anyone would say the 2018 Cavs were a better team than this. The 2018 Golden State Warriors, man. Come on now. Sometimes I question people's intellect. But when they talk about 6 finals losses, they don't ever talk about this. They always say, "Oh, he was in the finals because he had a super team. It was the weak East." I mean, somebody going to tell me that this is a super team? And even if you want to say he had a super team in 2017, right? His super team, so-called super team, wasn't more super than this team. Look at this: 2 MVPs, 4 All-Stars, a Defensive Player of the Year, right? The second and third best player in the world on the same team, which is Curry and Durant. And I broke that down on my other video. LeBron played better competition than Jordan. How Curry and Durant were the second and third best player in the world on the same team. And if you don't believe me, in 2014, Durant was recognized as the second best player in the league. He was sidelined in 2015. LeBron was still the best player in the world despite losing in the finals in 2014 and 2015. Everybody recognized that. So when 2016 came around, it was LeBron was still the best. A lot of people discredited the 2015 World Championship because, Kyrie and Love was injured. At the end of the day, LeBron was still the best. Most people recognize that. Durant was sidelined, so nobody actually took his spot at second. So LeBron, Durant, Curry was MVP in 2015. So he was top 3. He was third, right? Once 2016 rolled around, the Warriors felt like they had to prove themselves because a lot of people discredited them winning. Curry had that MVP season. He was the only unanimous MVP in NBA history, right? And that's when people start saying Curry was better than LeBron. So if you wanted to put him number 1, at that point, you put him number 1 until the playoffs started, right? Put Curry number 1. Durant, obviously, still top 3. So if you want to put Curry, LeBron, Durant, whatever order. Once the playoffs rolled around, then was the 3 top players. So the 3 top players, Durant beat them 67-win Spurs, then faced a 7-3-win Warriors and blew a 3-1 lead. He was okay. At that point, you could say if Durant was second, he went down to third behind LeBron or however you want to rank it. Once Curry faced LeBron in the finals, LeBron obviously did what he did. reclaimed his throne as the best player in the world. So, however you want to rank it, Durant was second or third. Curry was second or third. Once the 2016 finals ended, it was no doubt who the best player in the world was. So, yes, those were the second and third best player in the world on the same team. So, a 73-win team that already had a top 3 player in the world on it added the second best player in the world. So, the second and third best player in the world joined forces to beat the best. But I'm just saying, look at this. You going to tell me that this team is better than this? And people want to talk about 6 finals losses. Look at this. That's the end of that slideshow. Right? But we're going to look at some footage, too, of 2018 LeBron, right? Look at this.
LeBron James exploding here to start. James picks up his dribble. Shot clock winding down. James falling away. A three. Oh, it's good. LeBron James, 19 points already. The start. James picks up his dribble. Shot clock winding down. James falling away. A three. Oh, it's good. LeBron James, 19 points already. And that's his fourth.
No, I don't care. Jordan was never doing that. He never did that in his entire career. Kobe, to an extent, could do that. You know what I'm saying? To an extent. But I mean, that's just a play that I like to look at. Now we're gonna look at some Denver highlights. That game that I was talking about earlier.
20 points in the first half. He's waiting. Clock starts on the touch. Here's James into the lane over Jokic. It's good. 22 for LeBron James in the first half.
So LeBron James, 22, 6 and 4. If he gets another triple-double tonight, it'll be a career high in a season. Doing it in a number of different ways, Chauncey. That pocket pass, pretty.
Wow. And Larry Nance, he's the beneficiary of a lot of those plays.
So right at halftime, coming up with Michelle, Jalen, and Byron Scott. Cavs by 12 at the break. Ball's off the rim. LeBron pulls up, cans a three-pointer. He's 3 of 4 from behind the arc and has 25 points.
I'd say LeBron James is picking us apart. We also need to value the ball more. I asked him how he liked the aggressiveness of Nikola Jokic, and he said, I love it.
Here's James, and that's 30 points for LeBron James. His 5th 30-point game in his last 6.
Nice job by George Hill to get the angle necessary. Good backdoor by LeBron James.
I'm saying you got to come off shoulder to shoulder just to make sure that defender can't get through. And if you get that, you get a one-on-one with a big guy.
James on the attack, just bullying Murray. Great behind the back to Nance. You just showed Gobert and the difference he's made with Utah. They're now 5 games above 500. Zizic from James, a 3-point opportunity.
The 8th assist for LeBron James. Another pocket pass. Zizic.
Cavaliers to stay home again.
James
with Korver on the block.
How about James? He pinballed that out to Jeff Green. James finds George Hill. And that's net 10 assists for LeBron James and 3 straight made threes for Cleveland.
Great contest. That could have been an offensive foul on Will Barton.
James with 4 goes right. Jokic draws contact, kisses it home. A 3-point opportunity for LeBron James.
Back him and just make sure I focus in and knock down the layup.
First points of the quarter for LeBron. 32 on the night.
Great patience.
A game high 34 for Jokic. LeBron James 3. Gold! 35 for LeBron.
You're going to play pick and roll defense on somebody. Don't run into a screen. Not with the game in the balance and the king in the house.
Here comes the screen from Nance. James. Wow. That is a freight train.
The king remains on the throne, Chauncey. Just navigating the pick and roll. For anybody else, that might be a tough shot.
James against Chandler with 5. LeBron driving, falling away over Chandler. Good! What can't he do?
Wow. We look at this play right here. It's nothing. What about, it's great defense by Wilson Chandler, but guess what? Great D, better off.
Now I'm just showing, the greatness of 2018 LeBron. And everything, like, they be talking about the Jordan fans be talking about the eye test. And man, you ain't going to tell me you watched what I just played on the screen and you telling me that he ain't even close to Jordan? I mean, I hope that ain't what you're telling me. That's not what my eyes say. My eyes say that's the best player to ever play the game. We're gonna watch something else. We're gonna watch game 1. NBA Finals.
It's the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors as we welcome you to the 2018 NBA Finals presented by YouTube TV. And we begin at Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. For the 4th consecutive year, the Warriors and the Cavs will play for the NBA title. Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors coming off that grueling 7-game series against the Rockets, looking for back-to-back titles. Going up against LeBron James and the Cavaliers. James playing in a remarkable 8th consecutive finals. Cavs also coming up a 7-game grueling series against the Boston Celtics.
And on the first possession, you see, just like Houston did, switching 1 through 5 as James gets a layup.
And quickly to the basket. Durant lurking to help. James, hot step. 3-pointer's good. Green left wide open. He's been struggling from downtown in the playoffs. And misses that one, just 28% from that distance. Shot inside.
You have to switch up into his space, though. And Mike, one of those guys who thinks it was going to be a blowout that Kerr was talking about was me.
For Klay Thompson as he goes back to the locker room, David West was following his teammate. James pull-up jump shot. That's good. James now 11 points. I mistakenly credited a basket to Tristan Thompson earlier.
LeBron James with a heck of a start offensively, looking to take and make big shots. Comes off screen and roll all by himself, makes the Warrior defense.
Little push shot from 12 feet off the glass.
And these are shots that he works on before the game.
Kevin Love, backdoor. Nice spin off the glass. He beat Draymond Green, backdoor, and Kevin Love with 9 points here in the first quarter. These fans don't need any urging from any sign, that's for sure. James inside. Clarkson short jumper's good.
That's a great cut by Jordan Clarkson.
Comes up short. But great to see him back on the floor. James drives past Livingston and throws it down. LeBron James so aggressive offensively to start. He's got 14.
I mean, if you're David West, you got to get turned. You should be in help. You're not seeing the ball.
You're guarding Larry Nance Jr. like he's Kevin Love or Kyle.
James with West isolated on him. Steps back. That's a 2-pointer. That's good. 6 for 6 from the field for LeBron James.
He was on the Lakers, losing games. And here he is in the championship.
Gets it inside and lays it up and in. Got away from the Warrior defense. Teams that have obviously really struggled. Game 7 Boston, Game 7 Houston. James drives and finishes. Holds it up high. And LeBron James now 7 of 8 from the field.
Spectacular start for LeBron and the Cavs. They're not going to get into an up-and-down game with this dynamic Warriors offense.
James fakes the 3, drives again. Bell was guarding him in layoff. There was no help again. James goes inside, left-handed, can't fall. Tristan Thompson rushed it. James right there to tip it in. Thank you, Doris. They've changed the outcome of games with these third quarters sometimes. Thompson, nice move inside. JaVale McGee sitting down. An eventful 6 minutes for McGee. As James sets and fires and nails the 3-pointer.
That's where they should be able to look at us.
I love the rebound. James fires a 3. That's good. LeBron James from way downtown, and they've tied the game. And this 7-0 run, all from number 23. We're all even. at 68 apiece.
Could put into play against an average Major League baseball player, 1 out of 10. Sean McNally, the great Pittsburgh Pirates scout, said, no way.
Kevin Love the rebound.
I'm shocked you downplayed Savannah. He said she was all city.
James again from...
Man, Jordan was never doing that. So please don't ever, man, we just going to keep going.
downtown.
LeBron brings it up the floor and pulls up from deep. Not much you can do with that. That's a big-time shot.
Got to be able to try to do a little bit of both. And then the big thing, Mike, is what do you do late game against these great players?
Jeff Green running the floor and throws it down. Green, his first field goal.
That was just terrific.
James drives and finishes. A slam brings the Cavs back within 4. 7-point game, 2.5 gone by here in the fourth. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Green fires, and it's Jeff Green from downtown. James to Korver, fake. Had an open look, now fires, and hits. Kyle Korver makes it a 1-point game. Giving him plenty of room. James drives on him, layup off the glass, banks it home. 40 points for James. His 8th 40-point game of the playoffs this year. James drives past Durant, gets inside, layup is good. Then it's back to 4. We get under 3 minutes remaining. James drives past Curry, gets inside, and throws it down. A 2-point game, 44 for James. Curry again on the switch. Picks up James, 8 to shoot. James drives, shot blocked, count it, and 1. LeBron James puts the Cavs up 1 with a free throw coming up.
Time again, making big-time plays, gets into the thick of the Warrior defense. Grown man move, takes the contact, and scores the hoop.
His 46 points is his finals career high.
But if Golden State gets a stop and decides not to take a timeout,
James drives, double clutches, and puts it in.
Now, if you're going to tell me that 2018 LeBron, if you gave him some help, that wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be unfair for the league, which, I mean, most people, all I'm saying is there's no way you could watch what I just showed on screen and tell me that, oh, it's not even close to Jordan. But if you're going to tell me that it's not, okay. Let's see one of Jordan's teammates. Let's see what he got to say about 2018 LeBron James.
And obviously the follow, but just how tough he is to game plan against and play against.
Well, he's terrifying.
Runs that he can make, especially in 2016, but just how tough he is to game plan against and play against.
Well, he's terrifying. Yeah, he really is. Every time he comes down the court, getting downhill, you just know he's either going to get to the rim or he's going to find one of his shooters for a three-point shot. He's added the three-point threat. When we came here 3 years ago in the first meeting, we weren't fearful of his shot. We were fearful of his power and his penetration and his passing. But now you fear everything. And I think maybe the greatest testament to LeBron is that, 5 years ago, he was one of the top 5 players of all time. And from 5 years ago till now, it seems like he's 10 times better because he's added so much skill to his game. And I get asked all the time about, MJ, LeBron, and it's such a difficult question to ask. All I know is they're the two best players that I've ever witnessed. They're very different, but however you want to rank them, they're right there together.
And obviously
You heard what he just said. So that's for the people that say, "Oh man, he doesn't compare." What is it? What is his own teammate? Jordan's own teammate who saw Jordan live. What does he say? Right? Okay. Now we're gonna go to another video.
A 7-0 Oladipo run. Stevenson harassing James. James! Oh! A thunderous dunk. A violation. He did not cross half court. Spectacular play, but it should not have. He's been eliminated. Oh! Love. Cavs rolling early. A 7-0 Oladipo run. Stevenson harassing James. James! Oh! A thunderous dunk.
Okay. So if you want to know why I replayed that, it's because if you watch closely, LeBron handled the ball pretty much like all the way up the floor. There's a video with David West that talks about how much Lance Stevenson weighs and why this era is better and guys get better over time. Well, anyways, he handled the ball up the floor against Lance Stevenson, who's not a bad defender by any means, right? He drove by him, took body contact, and if you actually pay attention, he lost the ball in the air, right? He regathered it mid-air with the same hand, and then he dunked it between two people. So let's just rewatch that.
A 7-0 Oladipo run.
Him pressing LeBron.
Stevenson harassing James. James! Oh! James! Oh! A 7-0 Oladipo run. Stevenson harassing James. James! Oh!
I don't know if you can see him lose the ball, but you get the point. Jordan ain't never did, man. I ain't gonna say he never did nothing like that, but it's just he was scary good. 2018 LeBron was scary good. And no matter how many people try to discredit him and all the different things, man, I didn't show him the highlights, but what I really want to get to, if I can, fuck is that noise? Okay, so this, like I said, this is what he averaged and all that, right? But what I really want to get to is just how bad that team was. So here are some facts about, I'm just going to repeat this. LeBron in 2018 took a team with two roster trades, one at the beginning of the season and one at the trade deadline, to the NBA Finals. The previous year with Kyrie, they had 51 wins. He took them to 50 wins without Irving. So that's one less win. And two roster trades back to the NBA Finals. They had the 29th ranked defense. So they were the second worst defense in the league. The Cavs GM was let go right before the NBA draft. Kevin Love missed a month with injuries. Tyronn Lue, which is the Cavs coach, also missed a month. In the regular season, he played all 82 games and led the Cavs in everything but rebounds for the season. The starting lineup before the playoffs. So this is the starting lineup before the playoffs started. Played a total of 5 minutes together the entire year by the time the playoffs started. So I'm gonna just repeat that. So they had the 2018 Cavs had two roster trades. Kevin Love missed a month. Tyronn Lue missed a month. Kyrie Irving left, and they went from 51 wins to 50 wins back to the NBA Finals. And dudes want to tell me that, oh yeah, he ain't the best player of all time. Like, the team that he had around him wasn't a great team by any means. And yeah, they were getting carried. And he also went into 2018 with 14 seasons and 50,000 minutes of wear and tear. Game 7 against the Celtics was his 165th playoff game since 2011. And Yeah, that was his 165th playoff game since 2011. And that was his 8th straight finals. And if you listen to Al Horford tell the story, the Celtics were gassed and LeBron wasn't. And that's with, you know, all the minutes and wear and tear and everything, his 8th straight finals. So during that playoff run, he scored the second most points in a Game 7 win in NBA playoff history. He tied Shaq for the most points scored in a Game 7 win to advance to the NBA Finals. He's one of 3 players to lead both teams in points, rebounds, and assists in a Game 7 in NBA playoff history. He had 8 of the 13 highest scoring games, 9 of the 25 highest assisting games, 8 of the 26 highest rebounding games in the 2018 playoffs. In 2018, only 40 times that a player contributed to 50 or more points in the postseason game that year, LeBron accounted for 17 of them, and he played 22 games in that playoff run, meaning only 5 games he did not score or assist on 50 or more points for his team. He had the highest percentage of points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks in the finals run at 32%. He scored or assisted on 55.4 points per game through the Eastern Conference playoffs, which is the most he's ever had in all 10 of his finals runs. He had 612 points through the first 18 games of the playoffs, tied with 92 Jordan for the most point per game entering the finals since 1970. He scored the most points in a single playoff run entering the NBA Finals in NBA history with 612. He averaged the second most points per game in a single playoff run for a minimum of 10 games with 34.9 points per game. He scored the second most points in a single playoff run with 748. He tied Jerry West for the most 40-point games in a single playoff run with 8. He had a higher PER than any of Jordan's playoff runs. He had over half as many playoff buzzer beaters as Jordan had his entire career in a 10-day span. He hit 2 playoff buzzer beaters that season. He also was 5 for 6 on shots to tie or take the lead in the final minute of the fourth quarter. Leading up to the finals, he faced elimination 3 times. In those 3 games, he averaged 42, 11, and 8, and went 3-0. The Celtics were 37-0 all-time, leading 2-0 until 2018 LeBron. He was 2 points and 2 assists shy of a 750, 200, and 200 playoff run. He had 748 points, 200 rebounds, and 198 assists. Averaged 34.99 for the entire playoffs. 0.01 off of averaging 34-point triple-double for the entire playoffs. Now, a lot of that stuff is just records and stuff I repeated, but a lot of that is just showing, you know, how bad that team was and what he actually had to do to get them to the finals. You know, and I'm going to reiterate, you know, what that team went through. They had 2 roster trades. And nobody else could say outside of LeBron, we had a roster trade in the middle, like at the trade deadline. And we was in the finals. And in fact, LeBron's done this twice. Now, with the Lakers, it was less of a carry job because they did get some great pieces to surround LeBron and Anthony Davis. And they were balling to get to, you know, to improve to get to where they got. But no team has started 2-10 and went to the Western Conference Finals. Well, you could also say no team or no player has ever had a roster trade in the middle of the season and took a team to the finals. Never happened before. So 2-10 to the Western Conference Finals in what was that, 2023? Never happened. And you know, it just so happened to be LeBron James again. But I'm gonna repeat how bad that team was. So the previous year they had Kyrie Irving and they had 51 wins and they was in the finals. They lost Kyrie Irving. So they dropped Kyrie Irving, right? It was the second best player. They lost Kyrie Irving. So once Kyrie Irving left, Kevin Love was the second best player, right? So once Kevin Love was the second best player, now mind you, they had a roster trade at the beginning of the season. They had a roster trade at the trade deadline, which is pretty much the middle of the season. Kevin Love, which is the second best player on the Cavs due to Kyrie Irving's departure, missed an entire month with injuries. Tyronn Lue, their coach, also missed a month. The starting lineup, by the time the playoffs started, played a total of 5 minutes together. They had the 29th worst ranked defense. And with all that, he took them from 51 wins to 50 wins. And they were back in the NBA Finals. So 2 roster trades. The GM was let go right before the draft. 2 roster trades. Kevin Love missed a month with injuries. Tyronn Lue missed a month. The starting lineup played a total of 5 minutes together before the playoffs started. And he was back in the NBA Finals. Now, how are you going to say he did not carry that team? And no one else can say that they could ever match that level of. It's not just individual dominance. The way LeBron got them there is because he's the best all-around player, and he can make teams look better than what they are. And he don't just do that by scoring or rebounding or assisting. He does it by everything. And this is why he's the best player ever. The IQ, the all-around ability, the passing, the scoring, all of it. And how he took that team to the finals is, nobody else can say they ever carried a team that bad. Nobody. Not one player. Now, there is one more thing that I need to type in. One more thing. If I could find it. If I can find it. Damn. I don't know if I can find it. Oh yeah, I just did. Now, okay, this is Reddit, and this is insane. So I'm gonna show what it says, and I'm gonna show why it's insane. LeBron's 2018 playoff run up to this point is by far the hardest anyone has ever carried a team to the finals and in the finals. My data only goes back 35 years, but he's so far ahead, it's probably safe to assume. I collected data for every player to play in the finals since 1984. I took the 2 stats that attempt to rate a player's overall impact, or how much you're responsible for your team winning, win shares, and by over replacement. And for the top player on every team, which was like if you're talking about 93, you're talking Michael Jordan. If you're talking about the 80s, talking about Magic or Bird, you know what I'm saying? So he took the top player for every team, found his percentage of his team's total. I used postseason stats only from Basketball Reference. The average value over replacement percentage was significantly higher than the average win share percentage. And I wanted win shares and value over replacement to have equal weight. So I multiplied the value over replacement score by average win shares divided by average value over replacement, then added the value over replacement and win share percentages together to come up with the combined score. Here's the top 50, along with the more detailed look at the top 10. Edit. The game column is off when I was combining the win shares and value over replacement data. The games column multiplied by 2. But at the end of the day, I'm going to show you the chart, and then I'm going to show you why it's insane. So that was just explaining the formula and why the formula is what it is. And those are 2 stats that really show, how responsible you are for your team winning. But if you look at this, you got, I don't know if y'all can see that. It's really hard to see. Yeah, I don't think y'all can see that. But I'm going to just, I'm going to just say 2018 LeBron is number 1, 117.057. Value over replacement percentage, 91.8. Win share percentage, 47. Now, why this is insane? Okay, if this works, I'm gonna read something to y'all. This is on Reddit. There is an absurd gap between him and second place, which is also him. So he's second place, and that's 2014 LeBron. First to second gap is larger than the second gap to 50th. Also, every one of LeBron's finals appearances is top 25. As far as, how valuable you are to your team getting to the finals and in the finals. Bio replacement and win shares. I wish I could see it, man. It's just ridiculous. But since I can't, it is what it is. Yeah, I think that might be it. I think I covered everything. I don't think that there's really anything else to look at as far as I done gave the facts and why he's the best player ever, and I also gave how bad that Cavs team was. Like, they were really not a good team. But yeah, man, he just was the best player ever. Was and is, and this was the best version of him. And if y'all, there's videos on YouTube that got the whole playoff run, right? If y'all aren't convinced, just go back and watch that entire playoff run. Take your bias out of it. Take your feelings out of it. Take your, Jordan is better. Whoever you have over him is better. Take the 6 finals losses and whatever, you're going to say, 2011, all of it. Take all of that out of it. Just put, just watch it. Watch the full playoff run. Now, mind you, watch it with in mind of the team he has around him and the facts I gave, right? Watch it and then come up with just watch the full playoff run. And then come up with okay, is there anybody better than that? But just say if he had a really good team around him, how much more would he have been able to do? He looked that good with a bad team around him. Now imagine if you would have put a great team around him. That's the point I want to make. Watch that playoff run and keep that in mind and just rewatch everything. Don't even take your bias out of it. And then just look at what he did. And then I would say just, then after that, look at the team he had around him and then say, okay, well, if he had an actual great team, how good, how dominant would he actually have looked? Like I'm saying, put him with Anthony Davis that year. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And then tell me how great he would have looked. But that's pretty much the end of what I had to say. And I wish a lot of the stuff you gotta read and really see it. I try to show it as best as I can and try to read it off, but you have to actually read it and see it in word form to know how bad that Cavs team was, and then to know how dominant he was and how he was able to carry that team. But I'm gonna let y'all go. That's pretty much the end of the video. I'm gonna make another video at some point.